Hey everyone, it's Anthony Carboni talking to you from the past. We are only doing 2 episodes a week until June 15th. We're going to do Monday and Wednesday episodes, no Friday, because I am on my honeymoon. Or I will be on my honeymoon. Or I went on my honeymoon. It's hard to speak from the past.
That would be a bummer if I just knocked on the door and you opened it up and you were a supervillain.
And the thing is, I don't even have any knowledge of myself. I'm not very introspective. I don't know what I'm feeling at any given moment. Yeah. So the odds of me going bad at any time are huge. Huge. So you got to plan for that. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Speaking of planning for things, the afterlife.
Okay.
The afterlife is a place, right? Maybe?
Sure.
Is it? I don't know.
Let's do this entire episode predicated on us believing that the afterlife is a thing.
I don't think either of us believe that.
Nope.
But a lot of people do.
And that's cool.
They want to visit all of their loved ones who've passed away in the afterlife. They want to have a moment of seeing all those people in their lives, seeing their grandparents and their parents. When they're passed on, they want to have that moment of connection, reconnection.
I hope it all ends like the series ending of Evangelion, where everybody melts into a goo, and the goo commingles together, and our consciousness is all one in the goo.
And then everyone just goes, "We are all made of goo." And there's that song about being made of goo, the goo song. Did I not watch that right?
I don't think you watched it. I think you're thinking of something else.
Am I thinking of something? Am I thinking of something I just made up right now?
I think you're thinking of a thing for the first time, and you are thinking that it's something that I've spoken about in the past.
And I'm saying that thing for the very first time, and that thing's kind of a stupid thing?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm doing?
You're doing that thing. Yeah, no, everybody does want that moment, and if you believe that moment's coming, good for you, and I don't want to take that moment from you. I hope you get that moment. I hope we all do.
Yeah, it sounds like a lovely moment. Well, there are some people that are taking steps to ensure that you can have that moment without the whole being dead part.
That's just called calling your friends on the phone.
Well,
that's like, I hope I meet up with all my friends in the afterlife. Well, I'll just meet them at the coffee shop, dude.
Well, would be friends that have already passed on. There is this group, they're calling themselves
Was I doing that thing where you're trying to explain something, and then I took it to like a really stupid conclusion?
Yeah.
And then I said it out loud.
And I kind of ignored it and just kept moving on?
Yeah, I did that thing?
That's the thing you were doing.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a group that are calling themselves Project Elysium.
Whoa, good luck with those copyrights. I wish you all the best.
They are creating a prototype of a VR game. Game was probably the wrong word. A VR experience with the Oculus, where they're saying that you can provide them with photos and video and reference material of your dead loved ones, and they will create virtual reality replicas of those people so that you can put on the goggles and have a conversation with your dead relatives.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's what I want. I want to have a conversation with my dead grandfather, but I want him to look like the Uncanny Valley. Not only do I want to have a conversation with a creepy conversation with my dead grandfather, but I want it to be like he's made out of a rubbery plastic with glass for eyes.
Right.
And I want it to be based on blurry photographs and old letters of his.
Right. He'll only say things that he has already said before, but it's just been reorganized in a different way.
Grandpa, I'm going through a really tough time in life right now, and I need your advice.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. That is coming up, and I appreciate that you remembered that. My calendar app also can do that. What I need some advice from my grandfather about a kind of an ethical conundrum that I'm having at work.
Your grandmother and I are so pleased to see you, Anthony.
Thank you. I am pleased to see you as well. Can we get through the small talk portion? Because what I really need is I think my partner has been embezzling.
Happy birthday. Oh, is this $1 behind your ear?
Because I mentioned money. Great. Okay, this is working out. Can we take off?
A shiny dollar for your birthday, Anthony.
Can we just take this off? Can I just get out of here? Because this is creepy. He's creeping me out, and I don't think I'm getting anything out of this. Thank you.
Don't leave.
Oh, that was sad. Oh, you guys.
I'm trapped in here. Anthony, I'm trapped in here.
Oh my God, you guys are the worst. You programmed a shitty robot
I'm trapped in here,
that
Anthony.
tries to play on my feelings.
I'm just your grandfather. Look, don't you remember me? Do you remember this shirt that I wore one time when you took a picture? We took that picture. You were sitting on my knee.
I approve another 15 minutes at $15.99 a minute.
Happy birthday!
You sons of bitches! Just knowing what I know about VR and AI right now,
yeah,
this ain't it. Don't do that. Don't make this happen right now.
But
we're not ready.
I will say those episodes of Next Generation where they got to hang out with Shakespeare and Sherlock Holmes.
Sure, holodeck episodes.
Yeah,
sure, holodeck episodes are great.
But like those are people that the holodeck just created a facsimile of and constituted what they might say based on their writings and the personality profile that was established through long dead works that they have on record, right?
The holodeck would also malfunction and try to kill people like all the time.
Okay, well, yes.
Here's what you get. Here's what you get with AI and VR. As far as I know from all of the research I've done, and the research I've done has been getting high and watching a lot of sci-fi shit.
Mm-hmm.
Either looks like shit and doesn't work.
Right.
Or it looks wonderful and works, but you get trapped.
You do get trapped.
You get trapped or you die.
You always get trapped because you lose sight of what's real and what's VR. I mean, no danger of that here because this is clearly Uncanny Valley, a terrible facsimile of the real world.
This is like David Cage trying to bring your relatives back from the dead. This is like Heavy Rain, with your long lost love. This is
all
like
the QTEs you have to do with Grandpa are really a pain.
Press X to moment with your wife. That's what this is. I just don't, and okay. But clearly, like, we're ragging on the technology as it exists right now.
No, here's what I want to rag on.
We also believe...
I want to rag on the whole fucking concept of this. Because
Yes.
I brought it up, and I was all, ha, 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 let's talk about it. And I love virtual reality, but fuck this.
Yeah,
Because you know what this is? This is psychic bullshit. These are the psychics that go around and take advantage of people and say, I can make a connection to the people that you loved, and oh my gosh, they have a message from beyond the grave for you. All I need is your money, and then we'll sit in a room and I'll fucking lie to your face and be a dick and drag you through emotional carnage so that you give me money. And it's fucking fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, the experience is either a way to take advantage of people or in the future, when this eventually becomes something that does work, right? Yeah. Let's say we get to the future, because there was like a Black Mirror episode about this that you probably saw,
right?
Where there's enough of our life online, there's enough of our communication out there in digital form that you can just pull it in.
Holographic Tupac, yo.
Yeah, and just make a holographic Tupac.
Holographic Tupac, that's
and
what this is.
What if everybody turned into a holographic, like, no matter what they put
That's
in?
That's what the afterlife is?
Yeah, what happens is, like, they can give it your personality, they can give it your thoughts, they can give it your feelings, but for whatever reason, they can just only make it look like Tupac.
I don't know what happens. We put in all the pictures of your grandpa, but he looks like Tupac.
It's just, we're sorry. It's just everything we do. We don't know what's going on. We're trying to recalibrate it. This is definitely the spirit and soul of your 6-year-old daughter, but it is in a holographic Tupac. Yo, mama, miss you.
I miss you, mama. Anthony, happy birthday.
It's crazy.
Thug life.
It's crazy that I died so young. Wait, is that Tupac? Or is that my daughter in the body of Tupac? It's both. That's what's fucked up about this situation, is that it's applicable to both.
Yeah.
Your daughter,
so sad.
Your daughter was taken too young, but also, so was Tupac.
I'm going to be honest with you. Your daughter really shouldn't have got messed up in that whole East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing. Mm-hmm. That was she was too young to get all wrapped up in that.
She was caught up in her image, in her public image, and I think that's what it was. And it should have been about the work, and it should have been about, focusing on her art.
Yeah.
Her finger paintings and her work that she was doing with Play-Doh was really innovative and it was carrying the medium forward, but she got caught up in her public persona.
Yeah. That'll get you every time.
And now she's a hologram Tupac forever. So no, but there's the time where this doesn't work, and then we're going to get to a time, just like in Black Mirror or whatever, where it does work. And then my problem with it is not so much that it is a scam that takes advantage of people, even though it will be.
Yes.
But it will be an accurate experience. And is that healthy or unhealthy? Is it healthy to be given your grandfather to ask advice of? Basically, what you're getting Russell Crowe in Man of Steel, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're getting. It's exactly
That's crazy.
your dad.
Superman already has this.
Of course he already
technology.
has this.
Wow.
Of course he does. So, like, here's the thing. Is it healthy? Is it healthy
Healthy for Superman.
Well, there are a lot of things that were happening to Superman in that movie that, like, I don't want to get into a Man of Steel thing with you because this is not that sort of a podcast. It was a terrible movie. Like, but we do not want to get dragged down in this again.
No, of course not.
Because thinking about Man of Steel will ruin my day.
Yeah.
And you know that. Because, I go into like a pit. I go into like a depression pit.
Nobody likes either of us after we start talking about Man of Steel because it's a terrible, terrible movie.
Yeah. So I like the idea of being able to ask my grandfather for advice, right? Anytime. Mm-hmm. But would you lean on that too hard? Especially in the case of like,
But it's not
your
actual
significant
advice.
Yeah, your significant other dies young. Somebody you really love dies young, and you're young and she's young and she dies.
Right.
But you can have her. You can have her as a hologram forever. Does that stop you from moving on with your life?
Absolutely. I don't see how it couldn't. Like, she's not going to be just like this. I don't know. I mean, but that brings up a whole issue of using virtual reality as an alternative to reality instead of a fun, fun hobby or whatever.
And I think that's a huge thing that people worry about virtual reality in general, no matter what it is.
Right.
No matter what, whether it's a hologram of my deceased loved ones in VR, or it's an RPG that's really fucking good.
That's
and
true.
I don't want to leave.
I do play a lot of Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, like I'm in an RPG, and in this RPG, I'm like, we've seen people get addicted to Second Life. We've seen people get addicted to World of Warcraft or anything like that. People who spend all their money and all their time in these games.
Right.
And the more real something feels, the less you need anything else, right?
That's true.
So, I mean, this is a general concern about VR, but I think this is a particularly thorny one.
Well, this one is tough for me because it's such a hollow experience. Mm-hmm. Because no matter how accurate the representation, no matter how accurate the imagery is, the content of that personality isn't.
It's incomplete.
It's incomplete, and it's false. It's a facsimile. It's a copy of a copy of a copy.
And then thinking about, well, what if it has the ability to learn and it just keeps learning? Well, then it turns into somebody else. And then it's not the person you loved anyway.
Dude, this is a great sci-fi film we just wrote.
It's a beautiful sci-fi film.
Where your grandfather turns into a different person.
Can I tell you, I actually have a short script that is about this.
Oh, really?
I do. Yeah, that's about this sort of thing.
Pretty good.
That I kind of put in a drawer because of Black Mirror. But because I was kind of like, fuck.
Yeah.
Because they handled it really well in Black Mirror. I did like how they did that. But
would you, just for the novelty value, would you be interested in putting on goggles and feeling like you're in the same physical space as someone you haven't seen for 10, 20 years?
Yeah. Now, here's what I like. I like the idea of I'm halfway across the world from somebody and we can put on VR goggles and hang out.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's cool.
I also like the idea of, hey, your great-great-grandfather who you never had the ability to meet, you're not going to meet him and have a personality interaction, but you can stand there and look at the detail of his face or your grandmother's face or whatever and see what looks like a living person standing in front of you and kind of look into the eyes of... That's a kind of an interesting... Because just looking at a photograph is pretty amazing to look back in your ancestry that way.
Or even this, like, you're talking about the holodeck and you talk about... going in and meeting all these famous people. I love the idea of having a recreated version of somebody, some historical figure or somebody.
Visiting Mr. Lincoln at Disneyland.
Somebody in history that you respect or that you feel like a particular kinship with.
Yeah.
That you can use as a sounding board. And it's not that person, but like
crazy.
You know what I mean? Like if I could go in to VR, and be like,
tell your problems to Mark Twain.
Yeah, and just be like, "What's up, Mark Twain? Like, let's talk a little bit about this," and have him as a sounding board. Just to talk to somebody when you're feeling a little isolated or there's something you feel like you can't share with anyone you know.
Yeah,
to have that would be kind of neat. And those,
who would you pick? I think I might pick Mark Twain.
Mark
Twain
Twain
has a fountain of advice.
Mark Twain, Alan Watts. Kurt Vonnegut.
Oh yeah, Kurt Vonnegut would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
To talk to, like, I just love, like, you could go in and you could talk to these people and it's based enough on their writings, like you said.
David Foster Wallace.
Yeah, and it's not enough, it's not enough to make them real, right?
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. What we write is not us. It's not real. We write in a different voice. We write in a different way. We put different aspects of ourselves out there in writing than we do when we're speaking or when we're hanging out with people we know. Because I don't necessarily really want to hang out with Kurt Vonnegut or David Foster Wallace.
Right.
I want to hang out.
Actually, I would, but
I want to hang out with the voices of those books.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
I think we just stumbled onto a really compelling product. Like something that if it could parse your voice and understand what you're asking it and then search through the entire catalog of the volumes of writings of these authors and then pick the most appropriate quote to come back to you with.
That would be amazing.
Amazing. Like Shakespeare or, Mark Twain, I think is the perfect one. It can process all of the writings that we have.
Hervé Villachez.
Yeah.
From Fantasy Island.
Amazing. Perfect.
Well, you could just hang out with
so
Hervé Villachez.
You'd have love advice.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I think you're gonna make it. Everything's gonna be fine.
Yo, Hervé, how should I get to the reunion on the East Coast? How should I get there?
You could take a plane.
You
could take a plane there. Kids, ask your parents what Fantasy Island is.
Oh, we just made a Fantasy Island reference. That is pretty awesome. I'm into this product. I want this now. I came into this story angry that these guys would sort of...
Because I don't want somebody from my life. I think that can emotionally mess somebody up.
It's manipulative.
And it's manipulative.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be real because it wouldn't be them. And that's what that Black Mirror episode didn't highlight are like all the differences that would happen.
Right.
Like in Black Mirror, it kind of made him, she would ask him, she would tell him, oh, that's not something that he would do. And he would kind of blink and go, cool, I don't do that.
Yeah.
And just get more and more like him.
Right.
But I don't think that's the way it would be. I think there would be like too many holes.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
So I don't like that. But I do like the idea of using some sort of digital presence of somebody that I recognize and kind of can confide in.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's amazing that you could just sit in a room with Dostoevsky, or whoever, and just download their knowledge, but in a completely interactive way and a very personal way so that you're having a conversation and what they're coming back with is things that they've actually written.
Yeah. Or are based so closely on those things as to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that would be amazing. That's a cool use of this. I don't know if you guys could meet, if you guys had the choice between recreating somebody you knew, a loved one, or recreating somebody from history to interact with, which would you choose? Let us know on Twitter. You can hashtag those Fantasy Island. I'm at @acarboni.
I'm at Jeff Canada.
And hey, if you're enjoying the show, why don't you tell a friend about the show?
Telling a friend is really the best way to get the word out because we have no other way to get the word out.
That's not how you just, if you tell somebody, like we can't go to your friend and be like, hey dude, listen to the thing.
If we knew who your friend was, we would super go to them.
If there was a VR recreation of us that you could bring to your friend.
Oh, we got to get on that.
That VR recreation would be like, hey bro, you seem great. Maybe you'd like to listen to our podcast sometime. We can't do that. Technology isn't there.
We haven't been able to figure that out yet.
We have to depend on you for this.
Please do it.
Please tell a friend about the podcast. It really means a lot to us.